What is going on, Vulcan Turtle family? I hope you all are having a fantastic day. I am finally back from NAIC and I had an absolute blast. I did have a little bit of second guesses there because I thought my deck wasn't very good, and I was right. It wasn't good. It was terrible, and we did horrible in the actual event itself. But we were playing inside, had a good time. We were just all around having fun at NAIC. So I asked you guys over on Twitter what you guys wanted me to cover when I came back, and it was pretty much heavily handed decided that we were going to cover United Wings. So sit back, relax as we cover the bird deck that shocked the stream at NAIC. A big thank you to PTCGO Store for sponsoring the channel. You guys can check out the link in the description where you can use code VulcanTurtle at checkout to save 5% on your order for your code card needs for PTCGO or PTCGL. Thank you again, PTCGO Store, for sponsoring the channel. Thank you, Fantasy TCG, for sponsoring the channel. If you guys want to go and save money on IRL product, check out the link in the description to save 5% on your order with coupon code VulcanTurtle to get all your IRL PTCG needs. Thank you again, Fantasy TCG, for sponsoring the channel. United Wings was probably the one deck out of Paldea Evolved that was like super excited to play around with until I realized that there's just no beating Lost Box. But I'm very happy that my two teammates, Alex Shemansky and Josh Fink, decided to bring it to NAIC and do exceptionally well with this. Even the CEO of TC Evolutions came in with this deck as well to try and crush out the competition. I think they all did fantastic. I should have played it. I thought it was super cool and fun, but I'm getting distracted completely. Let's talk about the deck. So what is United Wings? United Wings is an archetype deck that's all based around the Pokemon Murkrow, Wattrel, and Flamigo. They all have the attack called United Wings, where it does 20 damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile with the United Wings attack. So you have 4 copies of Murkrow, you have 4 copies of Wattrel, and you have 4 copies of Flamigo. Flamigo is probably the easiest one to play around with too, because it does have kind of a generator in itself with Instaflog, where if you put it on your bench from your hand, you're able to search your deck for 3 Flamigo, put them in your hand, and then shuffle your deck, which allows you to get 60 damage into the discard pile so long as you're able to put those 3 Flamigo into the discard pile. So Flamigo, really cool. Once you get all these Pokemon into the discard pile, you're able to swing for a boatload of damage, and you can actually still attack with all of them in the discard pile because you play Ditto, which is able to copy the attacks of Murkrow, Flamigo, and Wattrel. So you can use Ditto even if all of your United Wings Pokemon are in the discard, which is super cool. You do have Manaphy in here because Greninja can be a little bit of an issue. You don't have very bulky Pokemon. For instance, Wattrel and Murkrow literally both have 60 HP. Your bulkiest attacker is Flamigo. So that is a little bit of an issue, but Manaphy can protect you from those Greninjas. We also have a very cool draw engine here. We have 3 copies of Ralts, 3 copies of Kirlia, and the 2 really interesting picks here is we have a Gallade with Buddy Catch. Buddy Catch lets you search your deck for a supporter card, put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. You do this once per turn. It is not like Lumineon, so that is the really cool thing here. You can also put your opponent into a weird spot by like Buddy Catching a card like Boss's Orders in the hand, and then like, you know, knowing that you have another one in deck, so even if they INO you, you're good. So it's actually a really cool card to have in this list. We also have the other Gallade from Chilling Reign in here because you're going to go up against some decks that are very V-oriented, very heavily reliant on Pokemon V, and Dynablade can actually take care of pesky Arceus decks so long as they bench enough of those Pokemon V for you to get an instant knockout. You need 3, I believe, so not too hard to pull off. We also have 2 copies of Squawkabilly EX. Squawkabilly has a very cool ability that they should have named Squawkability. I will die on that hill, but it's Squawk and Seize, and once during your turn you can discard your hand and draw 6 cards, and you cannot use more than 1 Squawk and Seize ability for the turn. So you can only use one of these Squawk abilities. You play 2 so that way you can consistently get it out on turn 1. So let's go over the trainers. Echoing Horn. You're going to go up against a lot of decks that play 2 prizers, and if they do discard them a little bit early, you can kind of lock it out onto the bench and then boss it out or Serena and then take a huge KO with the Echoing Horn. You got 2 copies of Hisuian Heavy Ball. Having Pokemon in the prizes that generate your damage output is not good, so being able to pull out, you know, at most you'll probably have 2, so having 2 Heavy Ball makes sense. So being able to pull those out at any time with Heavy Ball is a really good idea. You want to have 2 Heavy Ball in here because you're limiting yourself based off of your damage output is literally based off of how many of these United Wing Pokemon you could put in the discard. And if they're stuck in the prizes, they literally serve you no purpose. So you definitely want to get them out of there. You got 4 copies of Level Ball. Level Ball is not only good for just getting Wattrel and Murkrow, but you can also set up your routes and you can get Curlia. And you can get your backup attacker with Ditto as well. So you can get a lot of Pokemon with that Level Ball, even the Manaphy. Yeah, you can get all those Pokemon with the Level Ball, which is great. 1 copy of Nest Ball. This is kind of like used if you can like get it in your hand super early. You can go and get yourself the Squawkabilly. So you want to try and at least find this a little early, but you only play 1 in here because it's not one of the most necessary draw or ball search cards in the deck. I think that falls onto Level Ball and Ultra Ball. We play 4 copies of Ultra Ball in this list because again, your damage output is based off how many United Wings Pokemon you can get into the discard, and Ultra Ball is one of the best ways to actually do that. Got 1 copy of Palpad in here. We do play a slew of supporters that are extremely useful in this list, and we want to make sure that we can put them back in the deck so we can buddy catch them to our hand later. We got 1 copy of Rescue Carrier. Sometimes you don't want to use Clara. We do play 1 copy of Clara in here, and Rescue Carrier can actually get us something like Murkrow back, so that way we can swing pretty hard with the Murkrow, but it also could possibly give us some draw fodder on cards that we don't want to discard. For instance, if we have a Boss's Orders in hand and a Rescue Carrier in hand, and we have literally nothing else, but we have Curlias, we can play the Rescue Carrier, pick up some of these United Wings Pokemon, and throw them back into the discard, so that way we don't have to waste our Boss's Orders, so we can find other things if we need them. So it's one of those cards that you definitely want to use to make sure that you're setting up enough backup attackers, but there are some other niche uses that you can actually utilize Rescue Carrier for. 2 switches. Switch is important in this list. Now, I can hear some of you saying, why not Switch Card? Why not Escape Rope? Why not these other things? I like switching here because you do play evolution Pokemon, so Switch Card is kind of out of the question. Escape Rope, sometimes you do want to just attack what's in the active or just boss out whatever's there. So honestly, you want to make sure that you're always like presenting a backup attacker, having one safe on the bench. I think Switch is probably the optimal Switch Card for this type of list. We've got 2 copies of Collapse Stadium. Collapse Stadium is extremely important in this because of the Squawkabilly. You want to try and make this as single prize as possible. With Squawkabilly sitting on the bench, it's not very easy to do. So you want to make sure that you're filling up your bench as fast as possible, slamming down the Collapse Stadium so you can throw the Squawkabilly into the discard. And then once you get rid of that Collapse Stadium, you can possibly refill up the bench, but your opponent is the one that's going to have to get rid of this Collapse Stadium for you. Next up, 2 copies of Boss's Orders. It's Boss's Orders. We know what that does by now, right? I hope so. 1 copy of Clara. Clara is really good because you can get yourself 2 Pokemon and 2 energy. We do play 4 copies of basic Dark Energy, and those are 2 cards that we can get off of Clara along with the Murkrow, so that way we can make sure that we're setting up some attackers and also getting our energy back a little bit more efficiently. 4 copies of Research. Again, discarding is the name of the game in this deck, baby, and we want to make sure that we're getting all those United Wings Pokemon into the discard. Research is probably one of the best ways to actually do that. Serena, it's a really good card because you can discard United Wings Pokemon and then draw until you have 5, but you also have another boss option in here for Pokemon Vs. So I do like Serena in here because it gives you the option to do both depending on what the situation calls for. Then this was so wild to me when I saw it for the first time. Zinnia's Resolve. It makes so much sense. We're in a format where the benches just want to be full. Think about it. We've got Gardevoir, we've got Lost Box, we've got so many decks that you're most likely going to hit, even Lugia, where they want to fill up the bench. Zinnia's Resolve allows you to discard 2 United Wings Pokemon and then draw for each card, or draw a card for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play, which is super sick. You can draw up to 6 cards after discarding 2 United Wings Pokemon, which is so cool. And finally, for the energy, let's round it out. We got ourselves 4 Double Turbo Energy. The reason for the Double Turbo is not every United Wings Pokemon is the same. We do have Flamigo that requires 2 colorless, and we have Wattrel that requires 2 colorless. So they are a little harder to attack with. You need to have the Double Turbo. And the 4 Dark Energy is because Murkrow can actually attack with just a single Dark Energy. So he becomes kind of like your main attacker in most situations, but also you can put a Dark Energy onto Ditto and still be able to swing with United Wings so long as you have a Murkrow in the discard. So that is the list. It is straight up just Alex Szymanski's list from NAIC. I enjoyed it. I played around with it already for a little bit. I even brought it to a tournament and did not do hot because I kept hitting the decks you don't want to hit. But I digress from that. Let's jump into a game. All right, everybody, here we go with our United Wings deck. I'm super excited to give this a shot on the ladder. Hopefully we don't go up against like literally anything but Lost Box. You go up against Lost Box, it's just an instant loss. You got to pick up your cards and say GG to your opponent and walk away, because you do not win the Lost Box matchup. It just does not happen. But if it's literally anything else, we have a shot. The only other thing that you could probably think of that would give you an issue is anything that plays Lost City, because losing your birds into the Lost Zone is not great. It's not a good thing to have happen. So this is not a good hand. We're just gonna have to shuffle that away and redraw a new one. This one's actually okay. It's not the worst thing on the planet. It could be better. Like, we could have like some sort of draw supporter or even Squawkabilly. But yeah, unfortunately, we just don't have much. We're up against Mew. Okay, this is the matchup we want to see. I would not be surprised if my opponent just scoops here. I honestly would not be surprised if my opponent just scoops here. Murkrow is about to be the most MVP Pokemon you've ever seen, ever. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get there. Like, we could actually legitimately attack with Murkrow this turn and get a KO. It's not impossible. Or on our first turn, it's not impossible in this matchup. But with the current hand, it's not happening. That's the downside here. It's not happening with this current hand. We would need like a research and then research into like all the good stuff, like even another like a Squawkabilly, so that way we can use its ability to throw away even more Pokemon. So yeah, like, it's not happening this turn. But I mean, you know, crazier top decks have happened. We'll see. We'll set up as normal. We will set up as per usual. But you never know. Crazier top decks have happened. And a path to the peak. Okay, path doesn't really affect us too much, besides for not being... Oh my goodness, we got the research. Yo, chill. Okay. Instaflock. Yeah, we want to use Instaflock. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and grab those homies right now. We will play Level Ball to get ourselves a Murkrow. And the question now is, do we have Collapse Stadium in the deck so we can get rid of that pesky path? We do. Okay. Things are starting to look good. Not bad at all. I'm just going to go ahead and switch into Murkrow. It doesn't seem like a bad idea whatsoever. And then we're going to research. Okay, so unfortunately we didn't get the Collapse or any way to actually get Squawkabilly down, which we would need the Collapse anyway. But we are going to be able to at least do some decent damage to this Mew. We're going to be able to do 120 damage to it, which isn't bad by any means. So yeah, we're just going to go straight for it. 120 damage on the Mew. Now, you can see the potential here, right? If we were actually able to get a little bit more oomph into this, like just a little bit more oomph, we actually could have been able to just knock out that Mew on our very first turn with a basic baby Murkrow, which is awesome. That is not so good though. Lost City here is not great for us. That actually does sting a little bit. But honestly, you don't need much to actually get a huge KO here. It's not that hard to pull off. We will lose the Murkrow, but I think we just start coming in with the Ditto at this point. Nest Ball's okay. No, it's actually not great here because we can't really go get Squawkabilly. Our first turn is done. I think that's the one downside to Squawkabilly. It has to be on the first turn, which is just so not good. Okay, but Lost City here does stink. It's less Pokemon that we can actually put into the discard. Not very happy about that, but we can actually bump it with the Collapse Stadium. We have Curlia in hand, so we can draw 2 more cards. We're kind of chilling. We do have Zinnia's Resolve, so we do draw into any sort of United Wings Pokemon. We could discard them away and draw 6. So it's not bad, but honestly, I think the proper routing here is to play Zinnia's first. Yeah, we have to play Zinnia's Resolve first. Are they going to attack me with this Mew? I guess so. Okay, so we have to play Zinnia's Resolve first. No doubt about that. That has to be done. And then we draw 6, and then we can discard more United Wings Pokemon with Curlia. Sounds like the right call. Okay, so the Pokemon we have to bring up here is 100% Ditto. Have to bring Ditto up because if we draw into any energy, it's fine with this guy. Okay, we'll play the Collapse here. We will Zinnia's Resolve. The Collapse doesn't really bother our Zinnia at this point simply because they did leap away that Mew, so we were going to draw that much anyway. Refinement here. Get rid of Watch Rule. Okay, Level Ball. I'm trying to decide. Maybe we should just get another Curlia. Yeah, probably should just get another Curlia here. And then we can get rid of the Echoing Horn. I don't think it's really necessary for this specific matchup. Collapse in a boss's orders. Okay, so with this, we're able to do just 80 damage, unfortunately. Oh, no, we actually can't. No! I forgot the Murkrow. The Murkrow went into the Lost Zone, so we're going to have to give them Flamigo and pass. I forgot. We couldn't use it because Murkrow went into the Lost Zone, and the only Pokemon with United Wings in the discard right now are Pokemon that require 2 energy to use that attack. So Ditto couldn't actually even do anything here. Boss's orders up a Curlia. Yep, that'll do it. That will do it. Okay. Still not in the worst position, right? They've only taken 2 prizes. We've got 3 prizers all over the board here. So it's not impossible for us to try and get a KO still. Ditto, you can come up now, buddy. Okay, so now we can actually attack, which is good. Let's go ahead and I think we should actually Serena first. Yeah, we're going to Serena first. So we will discard 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we did get a Murkrow here, which is nice. Let's go ahead and Heavy Ball. We can get another Murkrow here. We can toss away the Murkrow. Got another Ditto, which isn't bad. And then I guess we just like hope that they don't find another boss's orders. Like, that's the only thing I could think of. We just hope they don't find another boss's orders. But now we have a Murkrow on bench, which is nice. Yeah, so long as they don't find another boss's orders, I think we're fine. Okay, lost a Vacuum. Getting rid of Force Seal Stone. Makes sense because you don't really need it anymore. Popping our Collapsed away. Mew V. Just, oh, please get Tails and then also don't find a boss's orders. Oh, no, that's not good. Okay, but you know what, though? Honestly, it's okay. Because we could find our Rescue Carrier. And because we have an energy already attached onto Ditto, we could just retreat into Murkrow. That is something we 100% could do. We'll see if they Psychic Leap as well. And because they don't have another Lost City in play, this Murkrow is going to go into the discard. Which means that we're doing 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. So if we can get 2 more United Wings Pokemon into the discard, Murkrow can get an Oko on Mew VMAX, which is going to be really, really good for us. Echoing Horn here. Oh, they're going to ruin it. They're going to ruin our math. Putting Squawkabilly down. Okay. Well, they already bossed, right? We still have a Collapsed Stadium hiding somewhere. I believe we also still have a Murkrow hiding somewhere as well. So we could Ultra Ball for a Murkrow. That is something we could do, and then we could research. Because we do have this in hand. Palpad. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Get rid of this and this. We should still have a Murkrow in here. We do. Okay, that's good. Still have 3 Wattrel in the deck as well. Let's go ahead and Palpad. We will put a Boss's Orders and a Zinnia's and a Serena back into the deck. We are going to research. Did not find any Wattrels. We were kind of hoping we would find a Wattrel. I'm not even going to lie. But we can just grab one this way. We can toss it with Refinement here. Draw 2. No Wattrel still? Yikes. Okay, so I don't even think we're there. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140. We're only doing 280, but we can actually get a knockout because this one's hurt. Yeah, so we're just going to retreat. And the one downside here is that we can't get another Murkrow down because we don't have any retreaters. But it's fine. We'll just go ahead and United Wings here. We'll get a huge KO. 3 prizes going to us. I think the other downside here is we couldn't fill up our bench and then play something like Collapse Stadium. That also really sucks for us because this is a 2-prizer just chilling. Don't like that at all, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. Power Tablet. They're not going to leap, are they? Because if they leap without putting another Mew down, they could just lose this game. Because we could just, like, boss target the Mew V. Okay, yeah, okay. They're getting another Mew down. And getting a double turbo on it. So it is getting all built up. So Roxanne. Oh, that's not good. 2 cards coming to us. Ultra Ball with the routes. And a path. Okay. Honestly, I think I prefer that. We still need to find a collapse. I'm wondering what the course of action should be here. I think what we need to do is we need to probably find Gallade, which shouldn't be hard. Okay, so let's go ahead and use this level ball to get a watch roll, which we can dump with Curlia. Because we need to just really dig into the deck at this point. Another watch roll here. So another question is, do we need Gallade? Dump those 2. Get Gallade. We still have energy in here. But it might be worth just getting the Clara. Yeah, I think we get Clara here. So we'll buddy catch. Well, then we can't actually attack with Flamigo, though. So I think we have to research this turn. Leaving us with virtually nothing in deck. Okay. We have a switch. We have a double turbo here. We just have to hope that they can't boss out the Squawkabilly at this point. That is all that we can, like, really do. Because we don't have any dark... If we had any dark energy, still, we'd be fine. We actually do get a KO on this Mew, though, which is nice. But we'll see if they actually get the boss to get our Squawkabilly all knocked out. I think our last prize card is literally a Collapse Stadium. Yeah, no collapse. There's only 1 collapse in here. Oh, they had it in hand. How many bosses orders do they play? 3? Or is it just 2? They must have played that Pal Pad. I didn't even notice they played Pal Pad. Oh, that's a rip. That is a rip-a-roni. Dang, bro. But, you know, you can see the potential of this list. It's super cool. Unfortunately, we're not finding the Pokemon. That was unfortunate for us. I do think it lacks, you know, a decent pivot. So that way you can, like, make sure that you keep some of these Pokemon safe, so you can put them down and then switch in, and then when that Lost City's out, so it's just not sitting there this whole time to be a boss option. So honestly, I do like the list. It's a lot of fun. You can probably see the potential of it. I'm really, really happy that I got to give this a shot. Thank you guys for watching today's video. I truly appreciate it. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And leave a comment below. What deck did you enjoy the most from NAIC? But thank you for watching. I love you. And until next time, stay safe and be kind.